morning, residents, and welcome to the North Brunswick Boost, where we highlight positive people making a positive difference in our town. Today's episode is going to be a little different. This is more of a public service announcement. We are going to talk about accidents in our town, distracted driving, speeding, and different issues that cause accidents in North Brunswick. So I'm joined here today by two of our wonderful officers in our police department. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Sergeant Jason Zier.
Lieutenant Erik Jacobsen.
And our chief of police has asked them to join us this morning to, educate our residents about what is going on in our town with traffic accidents. So one of the major reasons for traffic accidents is distracted driving. So can you tell us a little bit about distracted driving? It's not just talking on your cell phone, which is what everyone thinks.
Sure. So for years, the chiefs wanted to reduce accidents in North Brunswick. So I would estimate we have approximately 1,800 accidents a year, and he's looked for us to reduce that for some time. Speaking specifically to distracted driving, it's not just distracted driving, what everybody thinks of using your cell phone. It could be eating in the car, talking in the car, playing with the infotainment in the car. There's so many other reasons that cause you to be distracted, and all it takes is a moment for you to have an accident.
Putting on makeup in the car?
Putting on makeup in the car, combing your hair in the car, sure.
Yes. So talk about the statistics in North Brunswick with accidents.
Okay, so nationwide, there's probably, I would estimate, about 42,500 fatals every year, and of that, there's 10% related to distracted driving. In North Brunswick, all of our accidents combined, so out of those 1,800, approximately 27%. So there's a higher percentage locally with distracted driving than there is nationally. In an effort to reduce those accidents, we wrote a grant to both educate and enforce zero tolerance for aggressive and distracted driving. So we go out there and into the schools, into the community, the senior centers. We've been on the radio, we've done social media, and in an effort to remind people that they should not be using their cell phones and other devices in the car, and how many accidents that it actually causes. So 1,800 is a lot. So after we did a 9-month enforcement and educational campaign, we actually reduced accidents in North Brunswick 12.4%, which allowed us to renew the grant for 2025.
That's fantastic. The police department is very passionate about lowering the number of accidents in North Brunswick. So having a very, very successful rate of decrease in accidents in the past 9 months, it's wonderful that it's going to continue, that the grant was renewed. And it's really about keeping our residents safe, keeping our community safe. No one wants to get that phone call where you hear that someone was in an accident or someone passed away or someone's injured and they're going to the hospital. So anything that we can do to reduce that, I think it's fantastic that you're doing this. North Brunswick is obviously part of Middlesex County, which is right in the middle of New Jersey. So tell us about the statistics involving Middlesex County.
So to date, today, there has been 558 fatalities due to motor vehicle crashes in New Jersey. For the last 3 years, Middlesex County has led the state in fatal accidents, and we're on pace to do so again this year. So far, to date, there's 50 in Middlesex County.
The goal of our police department is to lower those numbers. This is not a award that we want. Being the highest number of fatalities in the state is not something that Middlesex County wants to continue. And the initiative from our police department and the other police departments in our county to lower the number of fatal accidents is going to make a huge difference in people's lives. Even saving one person's life is great, but the fact that we lowered it 12, what did you say?
12.4%.
12.4%. That's incredible. You already told us about the results of the grant that we got.
So we do collaborate with other municipalities, so sometimes we might cover all of Route 1 to do DWI enforcement in addition to our aggressive driving, because DWIs do contribute to a large number of fatal accidents in the state and in Middlesex County as well. So some weekends we'll do the entire stretch of Route 1 through Middlesex County. So we'll start all the way up with Woodbridge and we'll go all the way down to Plainsboro and we'll cover the entire highway in an effort to show them that we're serious about zero tolerance with both drunk driving and aggressive driving.
Thank you for that. So we talked about distracted driving, but speeding is also a cause of fatal accidents, and careless driving, I would say, is also.
Sure, both components. Speed is definitely a factor in accidents. Nationally, the speeding is higher than it is in North Brunswick in contributing to accidents. But when we started this educational and enforcement campaign, we had speeds in the 80s, and now you barely see speeds in the 70s. So the enforcement, the education, the social media, the news, we're hoping all those things are contributing to lowering the speeds and lowering our accidents. And we'd like to continue. While the chief would like to see zero accidents, we'll continue to push down as far as we can.
Well, that should be everyone's goal, 0 accidents.
Middlesex County has Vision Zero, so that's definitely their goal too.
Yes, I agree. So there are so many drive-through restaurants where you drive up and you get your food and then you start eating in the car. So that's distracted driving. There's forgetting you put something in the back seat and reaching behind you to try and pick it up. That's distracted driving.
Correcting your children, sitting in the back seat.
Yes, having arguments with their children, which I have done, is distracted driving. There are more things than we can even think of that distract us while we're driving. Have you ever been driving and your mind wanders and you think of something else and then you don't really know how you got where you were going? That's a cognitive version of distracted driving. So it's not just playing on your phone. It's not just, do you know what I noticed the other day? How many, I don't know if you know this number, drivers who have headphones or AirPods in while they're driving?
I don't know the statistic, but I do see it often.
You see it all the time. Another form of distracted driving. So our goal here today is to keep our residents safe, to keep our communities safe. We know that everyone knows you're not supposed to drive distracted, so it's more about enforcing, just not doing it, enforcing our kids to not pick up their phones. I think our children, I have a daughter who's 17 who drives, convincing them that they should not pick up the phone while they're driving, I think is key. If they start that way and that is their natural
It's
habits.
it's
Well,
basically
they learn it from the parents. They see the parents doing it, and then they think it's okay to do, and then they naturally start to do it when they start to drive.
Right.
It's basically reminding and reinforcing what you already know is wrong. And it's not just the distracted driving. We also want people to drive defensively. A lot of times on the road, whether somebody runs a red light or somebody's in the shoulder when you don't expect them to be, you got to make sure that you're being vigilant for yourself and that you're always looking around, so that if you're exiting into a shopping center and somebody's passing in the shoulder improperly, that car's not hitting you. You know, you want to stay ahead of those things.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Our goal is to keep our residents safe, as I mentioned before. So please follow the rules, follow the laws, drive safely, don't speed, and don't play on your phone while you're driving. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. Have a nice day.